Hey, yo. What it do? We back. We back again. Red Race Podcast live from the 9th floor of Hello Studios, downtown Dallas. Man, got a great episode planned out for y'all today. Just tune in. Just, watch this. Watch this. What they say.
Yes, sir.
Got my dog co-hosting with me. He rides shotgun. Who is that? Who we got in the building?
You know. Hey, you can't say the tight without the 1205. You know how we get down. We back up in this piece.
Yeah, last time we talked to you, you just dropped the album or about to drop the album. Now the
Yeah.
album's out. Make sure y'all go stream that on all digital platforms.
Oh, yeah, it's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot like pancakes fresh off the griddle. You know what I'm talking about?
I love it.
We was at Concrete. They were vibing out to it, bro.
They loved it.
They loved it. It was a great look, man. Go stream that album today, not tomorrow, not yesterday, but today. Do it today.
What time? Right now.
Right
Phil.
now.
Yes, sir.
We got one of our partners in the building, one of our brunch buddies, we call them, you know what I'm saying?
The man of the hour. Yeah.
We got former NFL player, part of the owners of Cowboy Wagyu, real estate tycoon. Give it up for the homie Mackenzy Bernadeau in the building. What's up, man?
What it do, baby?
What's happening in?
How we doing, man? I just want to say thank you very much for having me out here today. Appreciate it. Looking forward to chopping it up with you fellas.
Already.
Man, appreciate it, man. So what's been going on in your world? It's been a minute since we've seen you, Mac.
Man, I've been out these streets for a while. So that's probably why I haven't seen you.
Return of the Mac.
Again. Nah, man, I'm doing good. Just living the dream one day at a time. Got to say I've been blessed. Blessed to be here. Blessed to be healthy. Excuse me. Blessed to be alive. Just going through everything God's provided me the opportunity to go through. So,
Already.
I'm just staying healthy. Been doing a lot of working out as of late. It was hot boy summer.
It'll
be hot boy fall.
Feel me? Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Boy
man.
winter. It is what it is.
Or as an old head told me, hey, man, if it's just a bedroom body, that works too. You feel me? We can just do it for the bedroom. You know what I'm talking about?
Man. Yeah, so I'm doing good, man. I gotta learn how to do that, man.
I know, right? Sure, take it with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, you getting ready just in case the Cowboys call you like, yo, we need you.
Can't do it.
Right
Can't
now.
do it back. Can't do it.
Can't win with them. Can't play with them. Won't do it.
What's
Nah,
that?
man,
Michael? What's
man.
his name? Mike. Who was
Michael
that?
Singletary.
Michael Singletary.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can't
Yo,
do
he
it.
needs a T-shirt that says "Can't do it," man. I'll tell you right now. But no, man. I'm excited to have football come back around the corner. You got a lot of stuff going on. I think this time of year is tough for players simply because, it's that cut season, right? Like they got another week, and then it's like, what am I gonna do? If I'm gonna be on a team, am I going back home? And it's scary when you go through it for the first time. So,
Yeah, that's why one of the questions I wanted to ask you, man. Like, how is it mentally dealing with that when you're not expecting it,
I think for a lot of people, it's all about their headspace and where they're at and how you handle things. For someone like me, I've been through it multiple times. I've been in the league. I played 8 years in the league, or 8 years going on 9. And in that 9th year, I got that call that says you're in on a team. But the first couple of years, it was really more so, you learn at an early age in the league, you can't worry about what you can't control, right? Like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I think that kind of blessed me early in my career because I wasn't worried about getting that call. I was more worried about, did I show up on time to film?
Right.
Did I do my job on the field? Right. And when you worry about that stuff, the rest of it takes care of itself. And, God willing and blessing, there's opportunities elsewhere for other teams. So I just want to say a big shout out to the players that are going through that now because, it's not the end of the world. There's a whole lot of life after football, and you just got to take care of what you can control.
Facts. Now, speaking about life after football, let's talk about your journey, transition into life after football. Tell me, where it began and where you at right now with that journey after.
So the big thing about football and after you end your career is a lot of guys don't realize their career's over when it's over, right? A lot of guys, they be 3-4 years out and they think they're not done with it. I was in a position where I was blessed. I got released from the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I knew at that point I was more of a liability than I was an asset. Body was banged up, needed knee surgery, so I was happy to be done. But you still got that mentality of lifting every day and working out.
Competitive nature.
That competitive nature that never goes away. So when I was done, I took some time to just relax and figure out what it is I wanted to do. I was blessed enough to have, saved some funds where I didn't need to rush into something right away. And then I'm a trial and error type of dude. So did a little bit of the camps and the coaching with the kids. I loved it, but it wasn't for me every day.
Right.
It's more of a seasonal thing. I
Yeah,
love
that's me.
Yeah, you know, like you love being around kids and like coaching them up. You like because at that point you're educating them and you're showing them how to become men versus going ahead and teaching them about winning the sport. That's how I thought of it.
Right.
But it just wasn't for me because I'd be 100. I want to motherfuck some of these kids. You can't do it, right? They're not mine. Like I got to be responsible.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Can't do it.
I mean, and that's a lot. You know what I mean? That's a lot in a short amount of time that you got to do with these kids. And, you know, because you're trying to teach them at the same time. You know, you watching them, disciplining them if you got to. But, you know what I mean? It's a lot.
And it's a lot.
I coach youth football, bro.
And I came from a different coach mindset back in the day where they didn't care. They just they told it like it is. Nowadays, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So I did that for a little bit with the camp. Still do it. Just couldn't do it consistently. Then transitioned. I'm a business guy. I went to a business school. I love learning about numbers. I love understanding businesses and how things work.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Bentley University.
Okay.
Small business school west of Boston. D2, by the way. So real small school. And I started getting involved in some businesses. I started learning about investing.
Right.
I was big into trading. I love to learn about money, how it works, where my money is going. A lot of these players, what they do is they invest money with the financial advisor, and these dudes are taking money off the top. They're charging, and you don't know.
You don't know what they're doing.
So I was in a position where I had time to learn myself. So I took a couple of courses on learning how to invest, learning how to trade, and ultimately it was more like just learning how to gamble with your own money.
Right.
Once I got comfortable understanding that, I was trying to figure out ways to make the most money you can with something that I enjoyed. Being young, I was 34 at the time. I was thinking more along the long-term goals, so got into real estate. And the real estate, I love it. It's the best thing ever, I think, because it's a tangible asset you can hold on that, depending what your exit strategy is, you can do it forever.
Right.
So I got involved in that. And it's funny how it started. Long story short, I had a house that I bought, and I ended up renting out the rooms while I lived there. And then after I moved out,
how was that?
You learn some things the hard way.
Was it people you knew or just?
So it started out with just Airbnb in it every now and then.
Oh, okay.
And I got sick of the people that I didn't know. Right. So I was making money, but I had random people coming into my house. You know, and I was there, I wasn't feeling it. And like, you get some good people, but then you get some sketchy dudes, people coming in and out, and you can't do anything about it because they just paying their bill. It is what it is. Luckily, I reached out to a gym I was working out at, and I knew some kids that were that had internships, and they were just paying, you know, they were getting temporary housing, not furnished places. So I'm like, listen, I got 2 rooms. I'll rent out the 2 rooms to you guys. And they ended up taking that time for an extended period of time.
Okay.
At that point, it was going well, making money, you know, and then I transitioned, I moved out, and that's when I moved to New York for a while to learn more about the investment side of life and finances, and I rented out the whole house. And that was my first project, was just my property. And then after I got comfortable learning that, I slowly progressed and started to do, you know, trying to have those funds work for me and purchase a rental property, flat out, that I didn't even own, I did purchased. And then slowly, progressively, I did that, and then 2020 hit. I was living in New York in a 1-bedroom apartment with my girl, and the whole city shut down.
Wow.
And I'm like, yo, and I'm telling you, it was bad. Like, took you an hour just to get in the grocery store. You could only buy one thing.
Yeah.
And so finally, the people that I worked that were renting out my place here in Dallas, they ended up losing their jobs. So they were going to leave. And so I was like, yo, this is an opportunity for me to come back to live in a house. It's an opportunity for me to take advantage and learn more about the real estate down here.
Right.
So I moved back down here in 2020. And then the more hands-on you are, the better it is. I started learning how to do flips, condo flips, and the market was good there because everybody was buying.
Yeah.
So I started learning how to do condo flips, and then now I'm in the process of doing single-family developments. Single-family homes, building single-family homes, mainly in the outer Dallas areas, Sanger, McKinney, all the way up to Sherman. Learning that process, and then eventually, you know, whatever the next steps are, it takes me, whether that's learning to develop, whether that's being fundraising and building more places, you know. But it's a great environment to be in. It's a great process, and I'm loving learning every part of it.
Okay. So we talked about the real estate aspect of it. Let's get into this cowboy wagyu.
Cowboy wagyu, baby.
And for the people who are kind of ignorant about wagyu, break it down for people, you know, that not really familiar with wagyu, because some people think
what
like,
makes it special?
Yeah, what makes it?
So anyways, if you like steak, you know, there's plenty of different types of steak. There's different cuts and whatnot. But wagyu is Japanese steak. And it comes from Japan. There's more marbleizing. There's more tenderness. It's beautiful steak, and you see it in the cut. Now, regular steaks here in America is just basic cows.
Yeah.
Wagyu is Japanese that you have to find, and it's Japanese. It's all bloodline related.
Okay.
So, and you'll taste the difference. You ain't got to put no seasoning on cowboy Wagyu. It's just salt and pepper. It cooks itself because the fat in it, and it cooks itself. It's amazing. What I got involved with was I had two friends. You guys know Sean.
Yeah.
Sean Love and Matt Harrow. They're two guys, and they used to buy cows themselves individually and split it up between family. They're big cow fans.
Yeah.
And then a couple years back, they decided, they were at a restaurant one time, and they decided that, you know what? We want to get into the cow business. We want to sell our own steaks, but it's got to be the best of the best. So they shopped around. They were looking around a bunch of steaks, a bunch of farms, and they found a couple ranchers that were doing regular steaks and a couple ranchers that were doing Wagyu. They teamed up with our buddy Ryan, who is out of Center, Texas, and they found them. And it's difficult because Wagyu is normally from Japan. They're Japan cows. What Ryan does is years ago, probably 7 or 8 years ago, they purchased these 100% Japanese bloodline Wagyus cows. They're called bulls.
Yeah.
And these, I mean, they range from $50,000 to $500,000 for these cows. Yeah. So they bought a couple of these. You can trace their bloodline way back, all the way to Japan, and they bought these at an auction, and they ended up, tell you what they do, they take their semen, they mix it in a dish with the Japanese heifer, and a Japanese cow, they put it in, and they literally fertilize them in regular cows. So it's pretty much like, it's like, it's a Petri dish cow type deal, you know what I mean? Because unless you're getting them from Japan, it's 100% Japanese bulls, and it's crazy because
it's a surrogate.
It's a surrogate.
Yeah.
We're using surrogate bodies, but it's crazy because I went to the farm and these bulls.
I never thought of that. That's kind of dope. I never thought about it like that. That's crazy.
It's the best way to get it, so it's 100% Japanese Wagyu, and a lot of these cows, they are, and I'm telling you, you can't. You tell the difference between American is Japanese and American bulls.
Right.
So it's a mix. These are 100% A5. They're amazing. And if you guys love them, I'm going to get you guys some because I know you guys haven't had it yet.
Facts.
They're amazing. So we have our farmers out in Center, Texas, have about over 500 head of cows. And then our business model is more business to consumer. We do a lot of online orders where we sell individual cuts to people. However, some restaurants that we love, like there's Knife in Plano. Yeah. They love it. We're at the Cowboys Club. They love it. And so we're in those restaurants. If you guys want to go check it out and have some cowboy Wagyu. But it's a game changer,
like
man.
Mac sent me. Give me that cowboy Wagyu.
If you told me right now that I'd be slinging cowboy Wagyu.
Pause.
As pause. You know what I mean? Like, if
slinging meat over here.
As a business, after... Yo, I'm telling you, I never would have thought in my life that I was selling cowboy Wagyu.
They selling meat, baby. Hey, my boy, they're slanging meat.
What you doing over there for your business nowadays? You know what I mean?
Slanging meat,
slanging meat as a side business.
Yeah, that Japanese, you know what I mean?
But come on down, check it out. It's a business that I never thought I'd be a part of, and I actually gave up eating cows or eating red meat for a while until I met up with Sean and Matt. And then we went out to dinner. We had a couple of cuts of the steak, and I was like, this is the best steak I've ever had. And so I said, I want to be a part of this business. How can I contribute? And so I got more into it as part of helping with the marketing, more involved in the investing aspect of it, and how to promote the business.
So you like on the sales team too? Because like you just sold that way better than Sean did. Like I really want some. Don't you want some right now?
I do.
I want to leave here and go get some Wagyu steak. You know what I mean? Some cowboy Wagyu steak. Let me clarify. You know?
I mean, everybody. And, there's 5 partners of us, and everybody's got their role. You just got to know your role and do your job, right?
Yeah.
It's like any sport team, right?
Nah, let me say something about my dog Mac though. Hey man, this got to be like the funnest guy I've ever been around.
You know what I'm saying?
Like literally, I literally was. I ain't gonna lie, I was disappointed you didn't make it to the release party because I know it would have been like 20 times doper with your presence.
I would have started a circle up in that.
You know what I'm saying?
I would have had everybody dancing.
This guy here, like, if you don't know him, you know what? People might not know you by name, but I know they've seen you. And how you bring the party to the party.
I hope so, man.
He's that guy.
I just like to have a good time, make sure everybody's having a good time around us, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's like every time we go to brunch.
I know, man.
Shaker tin.
Hey, I be like, hey, when I be talking to Rob, I'm like, hey, is Matt coming?
Oh,
all right,
man.
Bet. All right,
You know?
cool.
And if you see me, come say what up. I might buy you a shot of 10. You know what I mean?
No, he loves it. Oh, my God. He's the shot god.
Just saying.
He is the give a shot god around here, man. He is going to buy them shots. You know what I mean?
All right, so we gonna kind of get to know Mac on a deeper level real quick. So we got this segment on the show. It's called Slow Down. I just wanna get to know you. Okay, so let's get into this. All right, so what for people that don't know who you are or didn't see you play ball, what position did you play?
I played 8 years, and I played offensive line, guard, and center. Okay. Left guard in the Carolina Panthers, right guard here in Dallas before they got Zach Martin, the freak.
I know, right?
And then center, I played center a couple of games for both teams.
Okay.
You know what's funny? I'm a huge Cowboy fan all my life, right? And I was hanging out with you, for a while. And then somebody's like, yeah, Mac used to play for the Cowboys. I'm like, what's his name? Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, I remember him. Like, I remember watching him. Like, that's crazy. I didn't know that was him. I didn't even know that was you, bro. Like, that shit was crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they said your name, I'm like, are you serious?
Oh, that's funny.
That's Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had the same kind of reaction you had because, certain players, who they are with the helmet on or whatever. People,
Mac got one of them names. Like, I just knew him as Mac. It's not his real whole name, government name.
Yeah.
Mackenzy. Like, oh, yeah, okay, Mac. Oh, makes sense now.
Man, you think the offensive linemen get enough love, man? Y'all get enough love?
Nah, man, they never get enough love, but we signed up for that, right? Like, all those rushers that got all those yards, it's all on the rushers. They're talented, they're gifted. You don't take anything away from them. But that front line, if
y'all
intact,
get the credit when y'all get hurt, though. When y'all get
hurt,
then that's the sad lines of the story. Like Tyron right now, like, oh my God, what are the Cowboys gonna do now? Like, oh, y'all wasn't saying that a week ago.
Exactly. They love you when you're doing great, but when you're down, they make sure you know it. But yeah, that's part of the sport. That's part of the game. We signed up for it, and it's just what it is.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So previous episode, a couple episodes ago, we had a homie. His name's Chris Lacey. Mm-hmm. He was a receiver for a little bit. I know he had signed on with Dallas for a little bit. Most recently, he had signed on doing training camp with Oakland Raiders. And my question for you is, how do you feel about teams adding players on just as bodies, knowing they're going to cut them later on down the road? What is your thought on that?
So I disagree with it, but I understand the business aspect of it. And it's kind of why I agree that players should get as much money as they can when they can, right? You are a body. And when I was in college, a scout came out and talked to me, and he's like, listen, Mac, this is a business. You take care of your body. He's like, you get your degree, and you take care of your body because that's what they're using you for. And that was the realest thing anyone ever told me.
I love that.
And so once I learned that aspect of it, I was like, okay, so now you got to – and sometimes it's part of the game, right? They're using you as a body. What are they going to use you for, this and that? And that's out of my control, right? Yeah. I only know what I can do, what I can provide to help the team and whatnot. So as much as I don't agree with it, at the same time, it happens. Yeah. And that's why I think players should get paid what they get paid, you know? And probably should get some guaranteed money with it too.
I really wish that's what they would switch to, man. It's like it's the only sport, and it's the most brutal sport. But it's like, do short or full guaranteed. I mean, I'm like, give them 2 to 3 years fully guaranteed, and keep it moving. You could control the salary cap. Actually, probably not, because they back end load stuff with that's really why they don't want to do it. But
there's so many of the factors. But let's keep it 100. Like, you want to go have 18 games, but not keep that money to the players, right? You just want to so you're shortening their careers by having those 2 games, but not paying them. And you pocket that money. So it's a business aspect. If the NFL is going to do it, players got to do it too. Yeah. They got to be like, let me get some of that guaranteed money. Let me get it all up front. And they need their rights. That's why I think the NFLPA has been doing a pretty good job of adjusting to what's going on.
I think it eventually will get to the point. Eventually.
Yeah, just
probably
how
not
long?
soon,
how
but
long?
Probably eventually, man. It's got to, you know what I'm saying? Because at some point, it's like with every other sport. It's kind of now transitioning to the players, you know what I'm saying, are controlling a lot of the action. And it sucks because, like in NFL, without it being guaranteed, y'all can't push the bar as much, But I think when the right players do it, like if Brady did it, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, them certain guys did it and started it, because it took LeBron to do it, and kind of start pushing the bar in the NBA. It's just like now it's like the players pretty much run the NBA. You know what? I just signed this $300 million contract. I've been here a year, but I want to go somewhere else. I don't like the front office. I don't like the coach.
And that's a fact.
You know?
But sometimes I think when they give the guaranteed money to the players, the league's got to give the players that power. And they don't want to give that power. You know, they want to keep dudes in check. They want to make sure you earn your money. And that's a controlled thing. And again, that's part of the business. Yeah. So we can only play the game as much as we can without being taken advantage of.
Facts.
But hopefully in time that will change. Players get paid and get that guaranteed money, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of reminds me of like the example. I think his name was J.C. Treader. He just retired, the center for the Browns, and also he's the president of the players,
the
NFLPA. Owners didn't want to have him on a team because he would influence. I feel like this is my opinion. This is my speculation. I didn't think owners want him on a team because he could tell them like, yo, they can't really do this, they can do that. They didn't want that distraction in their locker room. Not saying that he's a distraction, but. Yeah. Knowing he could have those conversations with players like, hey,
you can. I've been there, done it. I worked as a union rep at one of my jobs years ago, but you take that with you and you travel with that, and so you understand the laws of the employee, and also the limitations of the business. You know what I'm saying? And so there's people you care about, like you give them that, like that's free game, and you don't mind doing that.
But a lot of it too, it's like. It's money in his business, right?
Yeah.
Like that same dude, he's playing with the players union, right? At the same time, like, what if you're a player that got signed to be a GM somewhere? Yeah. What if you're a player that's now on the coaching staff, right? Yeah. Now your job is to get paid to not take advantage, but to get these players to do the best they can.
Yeah.
I don't even say that. You don't play anymore. It's okay.
So like my mindset is more so like you got to pick and battle between who's paying your paychecks. Right. To what side you're on. And again, it's part of the business, right? You sign up for it, though. That's the one thing I'll say. You got to take what you get.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's kind of a little personal question for you, all right? So you played with, multiple quarterbacks, in your career. If you could take traits from each one of the quarterbacks you play with to make your ultimate quarterback, what traits would you choose from those different quarterbacks?
He stayed up all night to figure that question out. You know what I'm saying? That was a good one. I ain't gonna lie, Ray. That was a good one. That was a good question, man. He stayed up all night on that, but I love that. That's good.
That's a damn good question. But at the same time, I think I was fortunate enough to play a lot of good quarterbacks, and there's so many different mixes of things. I think, I played with the quarterbacks I played with: Jake Delhomme, Matt Moore, Josh McCown, Jimmy Clausen, Cam Newton, Tony Romo, and Kyle Orton. And of those quarterbacks, I think, all due respect, Tony Romo is a mastermind when it comes to the game.
I was about to say, Tony Romo with Cam's athletic ability.
Man, you can go ahead and jump ahead in my question, bro. Let me some second, man. If you ask me.
You said man. Romo. I'm a Cowboy fan. My bad, bro. My bad, bro. You know what I'm saying?
So what I was saying, like I had said, was, so Tony Romo, he's ahead of the game. You see how he announces the games. He knows stuff way ahead. And he's the type of quarterback that you call a play and he sees what's going on, but he also knows, he's kind of too smart for the game. He knows if he audibles, they're going to do this. So he knows this is the perfect defense they're in. I'm going to change the play to make this happen. And when it works, it works. When it doesn't work, you got to sometimes be like, yo, why not stick to the original play?
Yeah.
But so he's ahead of the game. He knows everything ins and outs of this game. So I respect his game as far as that. So you put his mind and knowledge into, like you said, Cam Newton's athletic ability, because Cam Newton's rookie year, I mean, he was all over the place. He could run, he could throw, he understood the game, and he was just a physical beast. So you put Tony Romo's mind with, Cam Newton's athletic ability, and then I'm not gonna lie, I think Jake Delhomme's demeanor and his swag, like when it came to the game, like he demanded respect in the huddle. He was a fun dude to chill out and hang out with.
I love that though.
But like when he was in the huddle, he's like, all right, let's do this, and he's a Louisiana dude. So, you know what I mean? He occasionally had that accent in that huddle. So, so you put those three qualities, I think, into an athlete. And I think that's ultimately one of the best. That's the best quarterback combination that I could have with those players. Jake's a good dude. He just knew what he was doing. He had that killer instinct. Yeah. Cam Newton, too, with that athletic ability, and then Tony Romo's mind. That's it, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So, being a lineman, okay, your ultimate starting 5 linemen.
Ooh, that's tough.
Like ever or like now?
Ever.
Okay.
Well, I've been spoiled because I think I've played with, in Dallas alone with Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, and Tyron Smith. I think those were freaks, right? Yeah. And then there are the all-time greatest like Orlando Pace, right? Like I love Alan Fanico's actually good. Like, I like those guys. And then even in Carolina, I played with, Jordan Gross, who I think was a great tackle, Terrell Wharton, which is a great guard. So going across the board, there's so many good centers. I got much respect for Travis Frederick. I think he was great. He was smart. He was athletic in the right way to get the job done. Three of them are going to be Cowboy players. They're going to be. Ooh,
we can go with that.
I go with Travis Frederick. I also like Olin Kreutz as a center. I'm going to stick with Zach just because he, took my job, but he's the truth. He's the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tyron, obviously, he's a stud. He was a big time, like even despite all the injuries, he still, when he gets on there, he dominates.
Like last year, he graded out the top left tackle, even with the injuries. It's crazy.
He's out there. Who else is there? And like tackles, you can go either way because there's so many of them. Orlando Pace, I could put out there, and then at left guard. Who would I put at left guard? There's so many out there. What's his name? Marshall Yanda. I put him out there. I liked him. He was a left guard with the Ravens and played forever. He's a good dude. So I like that dynamic of those offensive linemen because they're athletic, they're smart, and they play the game with like a nasty streak.
Okay. Do you prefer zone scheming or just straight
So I'm old school, down nose, double team, head on football play. I like that. The zone scheme is great when you got the right running backs. And I was fortunate enough to play with great running backs: D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart, DeMarco Murray. I played with a lot of great running backs that were shifty side to side, but we had the offensive line that built for down nose, double team, gap scheme type players. I like him basically because it's mano a mano, head to head hitting. I wasn't the best at pass blocking, but I would run you over if we could do it on a run block.
Yes,
so I enjoy that. I think the game has changed a lot because running backs are more athletic, defensive linemen are very fast and athletic now. And so it's changed not too much, but teams are choosing between the two. But I'm more downhill, head-to-head, gap scheme type dude. I love the pulling traps. Dudes that run around the corner and knock someone's head off they don't see coming. That's my kind of game that I like to play.
Yeah, facts.
When it was fun.
Yeah. So, I was going to say, I miss those days. What do y'all like watching? That's what I'm curious to know. Because, I know y'all like just seeing the ball being thrown up in the air. But, do y'all even pay attention offensive line?
I'm old school, man.
Yeah.
I love smash mouth.
Yeah.
I love smash mouth. See, it's fun. I be talking to people, and they be like, if it's a 10-7 or a 7-3 game, it's like, this was boring. I'm like, no, that was the best game ever.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like that smash mouth defensive game where dudes is hitting each other, and it's like,
Bro.
They made it now where you can't even defend.
And I'll tell you right now, as an offensive lineman, there's no better feeling knowing that, you got a dude head up on you, and you're like, yo, I get to go all out.
Yeah.
And just, you can't, it's the only sport you can really do that. You're
Take
like,
out
I'm
that
going to run this dude.
frustration.
Yeah, I'm going to run this dude over, and I got my boy right next to me that's going to hit him right after I pop him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because, I'm always defending Zeke, man. I like the run game. You know what I'm saying? I really like the run game, man. I keep telling people, yo, man, Dallas, like the NFL in general, they throw the ball a lot more now. Look how many times Dak has thrown his last two healthy years versus his first 2 years, you know? And that's just where the NFL is at now, man. They like to throw the ball, and they try to devalue the running back. But I'm like, every running back, you can run the committee, but there's only a few, prime Zekes, when he was prime Zeke, he's still, in my opinion, one of the better running backs, healthy, but he only had that. I watched some highlights from that rookie season. Yeah, he ain't got that burst no more, but he still got some burst.
But if you think about it, and I always think about this, if you learn football, it's complementary, right?
Yeah.
You got to respect the run game for the pass, and you got dudes in the box for Zeke.
Mm-hmm.
That's because you got Zeke. Don't get me wrong, he's a great running back, but you also had that healthy offensive line that was there, right?
Facts.
So now you got to respect Zeke's running game. So now you're setting up Dez, you're setting up all the receivers out there for the pass.
Oh, yeah. Zeke was getting to that second level. That
quick.
Easy.
Quick.
Speaking of Zeke, I got a question for you, Zeke, real quick. I just got to know this. What the hell is up with this Power Ranger helmet you got on? I saw this new picture.
You ever seen it?
I'm gonna show you this picture later, bro. You like a straight Power Ranger with this helmet, bro.
Ones for concussions.
Was it? Is it a logo or was it like?
You'll see. It's hard to explain, but he looked like a Power Ranger. Like he about to say it's morphin' time.
Hope he has Zach Ranger, yo.
I got a question for you, though. Who was your team though, growing up?
So I grew up in Boston. I'm from Boston, born and raised. I was a Patriots fan growing up.
Gotcha. I figured that.
I remember when I was in high school, we won the Super Bowl, and I graduated high school 2004.
Yeah.
And so I remember watching the Super Bowl with some friends back in high school, and then after when I got into the league, you just respect the game a whole lot different. You watch the game a whole lot different, and you respect the players. Yeah. So right now, I'm a fan of every team. I'm just a fan of good football.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Super Bowl last year. I think that was the best Super Bowl to watch.
It was dope. That was
and I have much respect for the Bengals, doing what they did. So you just respect the game.
Right.
I don't necessarily have a favorite team anymore. And it's tough now because I got nephews now. And, I'm trying to teach them. I raise them a Cowboys fan. They live in Boston,
Yeah.
So, you just respect good football games.
Yeah.
I want to touch on something you said earlier. You're talking about, respecting the run. Mm-hmm. A perfect example came to my mind when Adrian James left the Colts. Mm-hmm. People didn't care about play action that much in Indianapolis. Like, we ain't going to bite on this play action.
Yeah.
Who's back there in the backfield?
They know.
Get out of here, bro.
They know, man. And it's tough. And good defensive coordinators, defensive coaches, they know what to look at. They know what they're setting up. And they're so particular as far as who's in the backfield and to what play they're running, what hashtag they're on. So they know what to look out for. So
and it's really respect. Like when you X's and O's in it from the defensive side, like, okay, let's just say like everybody says Zeke lost a step. But it's still Zeke.
Yeah.
If you give him a gap,
he gonna hit it.
He gonna hit that.
Hit
yes, sir. And so you still gotta respect that. That's why I hate when now I think they so in love with the passing game that they really try to devalue running backs. Man, I hate that because I'm a firm believer in defense and a solid running game will win you a championship.
Yeah.
I still will forever believe that.
I'm a firm believer in defense. I think defense wins championships for sure, but I still, because you've seen that, what was it, the Rams, Patriots back in the day, a couple years back. You know, so like defense wins championships, and the Pats still won that, and they got, what was it, like a 9-7 game or like a 10-7 game, something like that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't crazy, but at the same time, you still need that offensive line. You still need offense. You still got to put up points, you know? So much respect to all the players out there, man. I got much love for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I need you to clear something up for me. Make it clear for everybody in the world right now watching this, all right?
Uh-oh.
Did Dez catch it?
Hell yeah, he caught it.
That was easy. I could have answered that.
Caught it. Come on, man.
They made him change the rule. We know he caught it.
And listen, and it hurts because that game was crazy. We were coming back. They changed the rule and they changed it back, right? So now it's back to that's a catch. And that was a year. That was 2014. That was a year, everything was clicking for the Cowboys.
Right.
And that was a team to beat. And because of that one little thing, that you don't go to the NFC Championship, you can't go on and play for the next round. And, that was a perfect play call. I think he even audibled out of it and threw it to the fade to Dez. So, it hurts because many players remember their closest they get to the bowl. They remember their championship. And that was the closest I've been. I've been to playoff, probably 3 or 4 times. But that was the closest I've ever got as far as I've ever gotten to the round. And that hurt off of that little call,
Trust me, the fans hurt too.
Oh, yeah. It hurt everybody.
Oh, my God, man. Like, that was probably the day more people broke their TVs ever, after watching that crap.
That one and Aaron Rodgers.
It was so bad that they overturned it. It'd be one thing if they, threw the flag or whatever and, made a call. But it's like they overturned it, which never happens.
Yeah, that's hurt,
Which never happens that you overturn a big call like that.
Yeah.
In a playoff game.
All right, Matt. Appreciate you for coming in.
Appreciate you
rocking with us today. Hey, tell the people where they can find you on social media, where they can find all your companies. Shout all that out for us real quick.
Shout out to cowboywagyu.com. That's where we sell our individual cuts. If you want to come in and get some, we are at Knife and Plano and at the Cowboy Club. Follow us on Instagram at cowboywagyu. You can find me, MacB73, on Instagram and Twitter.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking about real quick before we sign off. What's your favorite thing to pair with Cowboy Wagyu steak?
So I'll be 100. I've been working out and lifting a lot more, and so I eat it with simple rice. I'm not a big side dude. For dinner almost every night, I cook up the zabuton. Some people call it the Denver. It's a thick cut, pan-sear it in the cast iron skillet, and throw it in the oven, and I pair it up with some rice and some veggies. I'm trying to eat clean, change my ways. However, old, eating greasy mac would have had some mac and cheese with that bad boy. I tell you right now. And
hey man, that sounds good too though.
I'm
you
about
know
to go get some right now.
You know
man, I got that edge, bro.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, cowboy ragu. I think I just pair it up with rice. I just eat it with straight rice, salt and pepper, put it in the oven, easy.
What about drink-wise? Wine, bourbon, what's some go well with that?
You know, I hate to say I don't drink a lot of wine, but if you're going to pair it up with something, it's got to be a nice cab. You got to have a nice cab. You know, I'm not a Pinot guy, but a nice little cab. Sip on some cab. If you like some whiskey, I'm a whiskey guy as myself. You can sip on some of that whiskey on the side. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, you could have it just as it is. It's perfect the way it is.
All right, okay. I'm saying, he said go get that Cowboy Wagyu.
Cowboy Wagyu, baby.
Nice, Cowboys Club.
Yes, sir.
CowboyWagyu.com. Shout out to my boy Tight.
Yeah,
1205 in the building. Make sure y'all go get that album. Stream that album today. Do it today. What they do from 10
Wait,
to 20.
what time? Right now.
Right now.
You understand?
Right now. Go get that. You know, got some lot of hot joints on that track. You know, you got the lady anthems. It's for everybody.
Yeah.
It's for everybody.
Dancing,
You got them twerking.
Twerk anthem.
That one.
You know what I'm saying? But again, it's another edition of Ray Ray's podcast. Before we log off, you know, we got to end it on a positive note. Tell yourself, I will boss up mentally. I will boss up physically. I will boss up spiritually. And I will boss up financially. Invest in yourself. It's your boy Ray Ray's podcast. We are out the building. Here we go.
Yay, yay.
Hey, get money all day, get money all night. Sip my drink,